Hello and welcome to Ground Zero, where I discuss different topics. This week's topic is The Umbrella Academy, which is Netflix's popular show. There will be spoilers, so if you haven't watched the show, I suggest you watch it before we get more into the video. Essentially, it is about 7 children who were born on the same day, along with, including them, 43 other children who were adopted by a man, and he turned them kind of into an elite squad of children, except the 7th one, because he raised her to believe that she was an ordinary person, which later on you do find out that she does receive powers. He named them the numbers 1 through 7, but later their mom gives them names. The first one, number 1, is Luther, who is very durable and has advanced athletic abilities, especially for his age. Number 2 is Diego, and he can hold his breath for an indefinite amount of time, and he's really good at throwing knives in different directions and curving them around corners. Number 3 is Allison, and she can kind of control people whenever she says, "I heard a rumor," and then she'll give a command or a suggestion and they'll do that. Number 4 is Claus, and he's able to communicate and conjure people who have died already. Number 5, he didn't get a name because before they were given names, he did decide to try originally his power is able to teleport or at least go through space, but contradictory to what his father says, he does try and jump through time, and they don't see him for, I believe it was 17 years. Number 6 is named Ben, and he's kind of can sprout tentacles from his stomach, and he seems like he'd be the strongest one, but you do also find out that he did die. They haven't explained how he died yet. They probably will in season 2. And then number 7 is Vanya, which was the one that was raised to believe that she didn't have any powers, but you kind of find out that she's able to control sound waves, kind of in a sense. It's hard to explain, but if you watch it, you'll kind of see. So it starts off with their father died, so they all kind of come together to mourn, I guess. And number 5 does come back from the future, and from that time that he comes back, he says in 8 days the world will end. So essentially it's the whole plot for season 1 is kind of stopping that. He kind of goes on his own to do that instead of explaining it to his siblings, and then everyone else goes through their own thing. Vanya meets someone who, I don't know if they did it intentionally, but just through his actions you could tell that he probably is going to be a bad guy later on. But considering how Vanya was raised, she was probably starved for attention, and he was really nice to her and praising her, so she did kind of cling to him when she met them. And Vanya, she felt something was off, so she tried her best to keep Vanya away from him, but she wasn't listening because she believed that all of her siblings looked down on her considering she didn't have any powers. And since number 5 is trying to stop the apocalypse, there's also a corporation that's trying to keep the timeline straight and make sure everything goes as is. So 2 other characters, Hazel and Cha-Cha, are trying to assassinate 5 to stop him from stopping the apocalypse, essentially. And they do attack the house, and most of the children do fight them, and they go through this whole thing of the children versus Hazel and Cha-Cha, and then they go into the backstory of 5, what happened when he was in the future, which I won't explain so it doesn't ruin everything about the show. And then the girl that Vanya is dating, I guess you could say, his name is Harold, and he did know about the Umbrella Academy, and he has a past. I'll just say that he has like a specific past, and he is trying to control Vanya, but she kind of realizes that, and she basically turns evil. In the end, she's the reason for the apocalypse, and the Umbrella Academy do go and stop her, and they do in a sense stop her, but what they do kind of does also cause the apocalypse, because she gets so powerful that she does end up not destroying the moon, but breaking off enough that debris is coming to Earth, and a huge like base meteor comes down to destroy it. And essentially in the end, Five takes all of his siblings, including Vanya, and they go, I'm gonna assume, to the past, because they show them all when they were children. And essentially that's how the season ends, and they're probably going to put more light on Ben's death in the season 2, and then what they plan to do is fix Vanya, which I can only assume they mean by like making sure that she's not neglected and separated from everyone else in the family like they had done in this timeline. Well, anyways, that will be all for this video. I will see you all next week.